Hello, everybody. I'm here to do a solo Beatles vinyl tag or solo Beatles tag, period, vinyl or not. This is a response to a thread that was started by a good guy here, Tone. We call him Beatley Tone. He has a channel, Beatley Tone's Beatles channel. Check it out. And a lot of threads are going around. They call them tags. People can participate and take part. And I hope you'll do the same. He has 9 things he'd like us to do, which I've jotted down here on a tiny little memo pad so I could consult it. And let me tell you, Tone, I have to tell you, this was a lot of fun, but I got to tell you, I got a lot of stuff piled up down here in the bottom rack and stuff, and to try and get out all the albums and everything was no easy task, and also the 45s, but it'll be worth it in the end, just to have a good time, I suppose, and talk with people and have this preserved here on the channel. So anyway, let's start the solo tag. And the first thing that was asked is, what is the first solo Beatles album you owned? Before I show it to you, it's hard to know precisely which one, but I know in 1975 or 76, I know that I went to my store and picked this up. And I think this was the first solo Beatle album on vinyl that I owned, I think. That would be Shaved Fish, the 1975 John Lennon compilation. I also bought Ringo Starr's Blast from Your Past around the same time, which also came out. Sorry about the train, it's inevitable. And the thing is that I'm not sure, of course, which one I bought first, or if they bought. I don't even know if I bought them both at the same time. But anyway, that's my answer for that one. Second question: what is the latest solo Beatles album you've acquired? A Band on the Run, the brand new half-speed master. This is really the latest thing I got. The next question, number 3, was, what's your favorite solo album from each of the Beatles? Okay. First, I'm going to go for John, Imagine. It's probably, I love Plastic Ono Band, and I love Walls and Bridges and Imagine. Those are my 3 favorite John solo albums, but I think this is probably my favorite, although by a hair, although it's a little played out right now. You know what I mean? It seems to be the one everybody remembers, everybody goes with. But anyway, that's it. From Paul, I got to say my favorite solo album. It's hard to say too, but I always stick with Ram. I think that Ram is probably my favorite McCartney solo album. George, my favorite solo album from George. It was between 2 of them. His debut album, official debut album, was one of them, but I went with Cloud 9. Cloud 9 is my favorite George album. Love the so-called comeback. I know George himself wouldn't have thought he really went anywhere. But yeah, I think this is a comeback album. Great. Love the songs. Love the production. By Jeff Lynne, I'm a fan. And yeah, my favorite George album, although All Things Must Pass is right there. But I wanted to give Cloud 9 a shout out, so I kind of did that. I couldn't get to the Ringo section here for vinyl. It's blocked, but I did get this. Obviously, in a lot of ways, everybody's favorite Ringo album, I used the CD here, is the self-titled Ringo album from 1973. It's got also John on it. It's got Paul. It's got George. It's got a whole cast of characters on here, a whole bunch of stars on here. I love Ringo's album Time Takes Time from 1992, which is a very close follow-up, but I'm going with Ringo. Let's see. Next, we got, let's see here. What's your least favorite? Of course, first you had your favorite, now you have your least favorite. What's your least favorite solo album from each of the solo Beatles? My least favorite John album, and that was a tough one. It was between really Rock and Roll, because Rock and Roll really, it's not my favorite album, Rock and Roll, and it's not John's original material. But that's not enough of a reason all the time to pick one. But I think my least favorite, actually, though, is Milk and Honey. And that's no fault of John's, I think Yoko's songs here are great, and I do like the John songs here, except for Forgive Me, My Little Flower Princess. Not wild about it. But the thing is, John didn't live to see this through, and maybe the mixes might have been different if John had been here. Maybe he would have done something else with these tracks. So because of that, it's kind of my least favorite album of John's, I think. Tone, I'm putting this stuff on the floor here, Sometimes you make videos, and when you make videos, what you're doing is you're taking a chance at like ruining things. I know I had to get something up there off the top shelf for later on to show you, and a couple of things toppled on the floor. Hey, we want to make videos, but we don't want to destroy our collections in the process. All right, now from Paul McCartney, what's my least favorite solo album by his? There were a few contenders, but I might shock a lot of people. I went with this, the Russian album. This particular version that I'm showing is the one on yellow vinyl, limited edition. I'm not going to open it up. You see, folks, it's like I said, it was hard access to some of these albums. In some cases, I couldn't find everything I really wanted to. I would have showed the regular one, not the reissue. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think he does a great job with these oldies on here. It's not that it's not original material. I mean, you'll notice I didn't pick Kisses on the Bottom. Kisses on the Bottom is not original material, although he does do My Valentine on there and stuff. No, it wasn't a matter of that. It was just a matter. I just don't think he does a great job on these. I think he does much better on his other oldies album that came in 1999, Run Devil Run. I think that was better. Okay, for George, it was down to a couple of albums. Some people will agree with this choice, some will definitely not. I know this album has its fans. I'm going with 1982's Gone Troppo, Gone to Lunch, and he certainly did go to lunch with this. I'm sorry, to me, this is it's a little too mellow and dull all around. There's some tracks I do like on here. I like Wake Up My Love. I like That's the Way It Goes. The song Gone Troppo and so forth. Dream Away, the Time Bandit song. But to me, this is like his most limp album. Now, everybody knows I can't stand Extra Texture. Extra Texture almost got this spot for my vote for the least album, except that I really like the song You from Extra Texture, and I really like Answers at the End from Extra Texture, and I love this guitar, Can't Keep From Crying, so I couldn't pick it for that reason, for those three reasons. You're lucky, Extra Texture. Okay, Ringo, this will shock some people too. A lot of people do not agree with this. Again, it's a Record Store Day edition because it was what was on the front here. I couldn't get to the Ringo section. It was kind of buried right now. And it's Old Wave. A lot of people say, oh, Old Wave's good. It's got Joe Walsh on it. Look, I don't want to hear it. I don't like Old Wave. It's my least favorite Ringo album. And that means even from albums from the 21st century. I like a lot of Ringo's albums and EPs and things he's done recently. But this one, it's just limp as hell. The only song I really like on this is a cover version of She's About a Mover that I really like. And there are a couple of other ditties on here, but yeah, my least favorite Ringo album. Sorry. All right, next up, we least favorite from each. Oh, by the way, I should mention, I didn't specify this. When you do when you do the least favorite or favorite, we're not talking about compilations. We're not talking about experimental albums. This is discounting those, and we're not talking about no live albums. Those weren't included in there. All right, now number 5 is what's the greatest solo Beatles book? Well, finally got to this book, and I gotta say, are there better books than this? Perhaps. I don't know, but right now it's fresh in my mind, and this wonderful, relatively new book, part of a series that's coming out. They're working on part 2 as I speak. The McCartney Legacy, Volume 1, 1969 to 73, a plethora of material and information. This is a labor of love, and it is fantastic. Alan Kozin and Adrian Sinclair. That's my choice today, here and now, for my favorite solo Beatles-related book. Okay, next up, show an artifact, a solo artifact, or a solo piece of memorabilia, or something like that. Well, a lot of you know I love promotion stuff. I was going to show the comb. I got the original comb that was used as an advertisement for Rock and Roll, the Rock and Roll album from John Lennon. I can't find the comb. It's misplaced, But I'm sure I have something of an idea. It's in a cabinet over here somewhere. I think just couldn't get to this stuff. A lot of stuff here. But then I thought, no, this item here, which I have in my avatar, is probably my favorite. I got this as a gift from my friend Elliot. It's one of the best gifts I ever got, Beatle-wise. It is a Ringo's Rotogravure, original on Atlantic Records, promo item with the glass like on the cover of the album, and I liked it so much I used it for my current avatar, you know. So I love this piece. This is a great piece of memorabilia that I just can't be without. All right, now we got that was number 6. Now we're going to do number 7. Tone asked us, what is our favorite solo box set? That was tough because Paul McCartney has so many great archive editions, but you're going to be surprised maybe. I went with John Lennon because I think the Lennon estate is giving you more bang for your buck and doing a fantastic job than the McCartneys even. And this here, John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, The Ultimate Mixes. This box set is probably anything really I could have picked from Lennon. I could have picked Imagine, the Imagine box set. I could have picked Gimme Some Truth. For those who don't know, they're going to be coming out with Mind Games, a box like this, coming out supposedly this June. So look forward to that. And they do a great job, and the prices they charge are less too. So I kind of appreciate that. Anyway, let us move on. What's your favorite solo live album? I'm not a big fan of live albums. I've never have been. And of course, always the temptation is there to go with everybody's favorite, the 3-record set, Wings Over America by Paul McCartney with Wings. But I decided to go with this, which is a live album that I actually loved, man. And this one is on Clear and Amber Gold. Clear and Amber vinyl, yeah, okay. And it's this one, Paul McCartney, Amoeba Gig. There's a show he did, I think it was in June of 2007 at the Amoeba Record Store. Paul is in fine voice here. He does a wonderful job. He sings some Beatles songs and some solo songs, and this is a great performance. So Amoeba Gig is my choice right now at this point in time anyway for my favorite as far as a live solo is concerned. All right, let's go next. All right. Now, the final one, number 9, is show 3 non-album singles. So I took that to mean, 3 singles that were not featured on regular studio albums. Now, again, I gotta be honest about this. These are among my favorites here. I'm going to show you. However, because I couldn't get to too many of my 45s, the only 45 case I could really get at right now, things are not really as orderly here as I'd like them to be, was the Paul McCartney singles collection. So everything I have here is from Paul. These are among my favorites. First and foremost, Once Upon a Long Ago. Once Upon a Long Ago is a wonderful song, beautiful song. And the other one here, Back on My Feet. A great double punch there. This is an EP. It has Midnight Special and Don't Get Around Much Anymore. I don't care about those as much. But Once Upon a Long Ago and Back on My Feet, which he did, Back on My Feet with Elvis Costello. I love Back on My Feet, and I love Once Upon a Long Ago. This is hands down. The first thing I thought of when Beatles Tone asked this question was this one. And here's some other ones I want to show. Favorite non-album. I guess this qualifies, doesn't it? This is Another Day. Single of Another Day here. I'll show you while I have it here. I don't know exactly where this is from because it doesn't say right now. This is from Spain. This is from Spain. It does say, and there's the label. So that's a favorite non-album single, really. There were many of them from Paul, that's for sure. But I also found this picture disc, non-album tracks, Home Tonight. This one was 2018. Home Tonight and In a Hurry. Okay, those are good. And just to throw one more in that I happen to find, Wonderful Christmas Time, a Happy Christmas Song, and that's a non-album single as well. I had a lot of fun doing this, but I am not going to have fun putting all this stuff back. But thank you, Tone, for coming up with this idea. Hope you enjoyed it. Lots of fun, everybody. Let's see your videos.